Good afternoon. For a great tourism experience, it's very important that private players and public players both come together. And we have just seen the experience narrated by the private players in our previous two sessions. And now it's time to take stock of what the administration is doing to enhance our tourist experience. I'll first go to Mr. Jadhav from Odisha. And Team India today has just come back from Odisha, and we had a great experience in that state in terms of tourist hospitality and other facilities. And why not? Because in last year, the data for 2022, it has come out, and we saw that there was more than 800% increase in the foreign tourist inflow, which is very significant. So what has Odisha done differently? Because we also saw Odisha administration going to Hanoi, to London to promote tourism for the state, and there would be a direct flight between Bangkok and Bhubaneswar. So what is it that Odisha is doing apart from giving tourism the industry status?
Thank you. First of all, let me congratulate India Today and also thank for giving this platform to government officials to interact with. And it was a pleasant surprise to see the structure of today's interactions. First museums, then travel and stories, all experiential things out of the box. It is essentially a surprise, a pleasant surprise. So I must congratulate India Today for this thing. Earlier on this occasion also, I have expressed this thing that a major publishing house like India Today, mainstream publishing house, giving such an important center stage to a sector like tourism, which is essentially, even in government parlance also, see our government departments also, tourism is not one of the core departments, so to say. But recently, some of the state governments, including Odisha, they have realized the importance of tourism from industry perspective. So, tourism earlier used to be attached as a leisure part, an activity, leftover activity kind of. So now that is not the case. Was one statistical indicator which last time also on this stage I had mentioned this particular aspect. I will try to reiterate that thing. If you see the hike of budget over last 10 years, 10 years ago, the budget of tourism department in government of Odisha, it was 65 crore. 65 crore. This year, just day before yesterday, was the last date of sanction of all the tourism budgets. I have signed sanction orders worth 712 crore rupees, just 2 days ago. And in coming year, I am afraid I am staring at a figure of 1,000 crore plus. Why? With fear? It's a challenge to spend. It's a challenge to your imagination. How we are going to plan the activities? How we are going to take the private sector also on board about these things. It's not about just spending the money. Now, what Odisha is doing and what it is doing differently. I won't say just Odisha alone. Many other states are there. But to say Odisha, because yes, Odisha has started late because of the priorities the state had. 20 years ago, state had tremendous challenges to face too. Natural disasters, starvation deaths, those were the news 20 years ago. We have overcome all those things, and we have come at a juncture where we can afford to give priority to a sector like tourism. We can afford to look at tourism as an industry, as a budding industry. It's not just even 1 year complete. Last May and June, Odisha government, and I think probably it is the only state in the country, which has given the support of viability gap funding for direct flight connectivity from Bhubaneswar to 3 major connecting hubs. One in Dubai, Singapore, and Bangkok. Following this, Odisha Tourism took the cue, and we organized road shows in those important international cities. Plus, we went ahead to Vietnam also, wherein we found the opportunity of showcasing the heritage. Now, today's theme is heritage, so I must mention this thing, Buddhist heritage. Now, not many people know about Buddhist heritage of Odisha. That's why we call in our tagline is also India's best kept secrets because of that thing. There are many more stories to tell about Odisha that need to be unearthed. So what, again, coming back to the core question of yours, what Odisha government is doing. Odisha government understands what needs to be done in tourism. 3 things need to be done. Number 1 is creation of infrastructure. Tourism-specific infrastructure. So be it for day tourists who will be coming to a particular spot, be it for tourism infrastructure for the investors to create their hospitality hubs in those areas. It could be amusement parks, it could be hotels, it could be restaurants. Second thing, attracting investment. Now it follows the first thing. So for attraction of investment, then there are things like formation of tourism policy, which is not a different thing. It has to be done by every government, like that we are also doing. Creation of land bank. More than 5,000 acres of land is readily available on the shelf. You come, you select the land parcel and need to take it. Very speedy process of single window approvals. And third important thing is promotion and branding, which I believe we have done a lot of investment in these areas. Why I say investment? The private sector, barring big players in the private sector, the stakeholders in tourism sector, they are spread in unorganized sector mostly, and they are very small players, be it tour operators, be it hotel operators. So barring the big chain of hotels, these small stakeholders, they cannot afford to go big way branding. So therein the role of state comes in, and we step in. And our promotion includes the promotion of our stakeholders also. To that effect, like GITB in Jaipur, we also have our own flagship event of OTB, Odisha Travel Bazaar, wherein we give stage for our own stakeholders to interact with domestic and foreign tour operators. Just last month, we concluded our 5th edition of OTB, wherein 55 foreign tour operators from 18 countries and 70 domestic tour operators from 20 odd states, they had participated. For a state like Odisha, which is emerging now, I believe these are good numbers, and although we have not arrived yet there, but we are going in the right direction. That much I can say. Thank you.
Thank you. Rajasthan is already much known in this tourist circuit, but your tourism minister, Diya Kumaris, he has recently set up a 100-day agenda, and also the tourism department is scouting for some new destinations, so to attract more tourists. Could you elaborate more on this, Mr. Rathore?
Yeah, thank you very much. And as you rightly pointed out, that traditionally Rajasthan has been a very tourist-friendly destination since, I mean, if we say from the decade of 70s or 80s, tourism has been one of the major contributors to economy. And just now I was discussing with one of the colleagues that tourism and allied activities contribute almost 15% to our state GSDP. So we as a state realize the potential of tourism to boost economic activities and provide employment opportunities in organized as well as in, informal sector. And talking about new tourism venues, yes, there are so many options. Now Rajasthan in the post-corona period is not limited to the typical tourist season from November to February. As was being mentioned in the previous session, that the younger generation, they want to explore the place in its totality. It's not that this is the ideal time to visit, this is a particular season to visit, but to understand how actually people live, the essence of that place. And so keeping that in mind, we are trying to showcase Rajasthan as a 365-day destination, and hence the new places. It is not new places, but providing more tourist options at the same places. Like if Jaisalmer has its beauty in winters, but Jaisalmer is also beautiful in the summer seasons. Well, in the daytime, there are certain restrictions for those for whom weather matters. But for those, there are, like we are promoting astrotourism. Now, we all know that desert places are the best place for a night activity, especially with clear skies and everything. So we are having those desert trails. Adding to it, we are trying to showcase the rural lifestyle of Rajasthan to the people who are coming, because they also want to experience, because when we talk about Rajasthan, we talk about its culture, its majestic forts and palaces, but it is also the living traditions of Rajasthan. They can be experienced if you go and live with the people who are into camel rearing. So what does a camel herd exactly look like? What does it take to bring up a camel? what are the camel products. These days we know the importance of camel milk for autism and everything. Then there are those banjaras we were just talking about. So to experience their lifestyle. So these are some aspects of intangible cultural heritage that we have added to our tourism promotional strategy. And I must say that it is going very well with the millennial generations. So now Rajasthan has definitely become a 365-day destination, and with more tourism options and the proactive policies of the government, we are also trying to make Rajasthan as the best place for investment in tourism with the industry status, which Odisha was mentioning. I think we started in 2022, and extending so many benefits in terms of electricity tariffs, relaxations in UD taxes and conversions and all so many measures. So it has also become a favorite place for investment in tourism. And very recently you would have seen that now wedding tourism has picked up in a very big way. Earlier also many weddings were happening, but what we are focusing is that it is not for the very rich, uber rich. Even people with medium budget, they can think of having a fairy tale wedding. So that kind of promotional strategy also this government of Rajasthan is promoting.
Like Palace on Wheels, the destination wedding, it's becoming part. Coming to Himachal Pradesh, Ms. Thakur, before June 2023, I think Himachal Pradesh created a record of around 1 crore tourist inflow, which was highest in 6 years, if I'm not wrong. But then disaster struck. And how is Himachal now, whether it's jumping back or limping back to normalcy in terms of tourist inflow? Also, what is Himachal doing to avoid the kind of serpentine traffic jam lines we see to avoid that?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Firstly, let me thank India Today Group for bringing us all together. And you rightly said, last year, Himachal Pradesh crossed 16 million tourists, and which was a 6% jump from the previous year. Yes, the tourist inflow, we had a very disastrous monsoon, and so much so that we had precious lives lost in the state capital as well. So the magnitude was huge. But I would say that after that, the state definitely came back with a lot of resilience. We went ahead in a very ambitious manner with first resurrecting our infrastructure. And we do understand that in Himachal, we have certain challenges, geographic challenges. We don't have a fully functional, airport on which an Airbus can land. So the state government has been trying, we've been trying a lot for expansion of our Kangra airport, working on the interstate and intrastate connectivity through the development of heliports. So we are at it. But I would say that tourists have also, I should really thank the tourists, both national and international, for showing their confidence in Himachal, because we still have, as I talk to you, we are also promoting Himachal as a winter adventure tourism destination. So we are having these, La Himalaya, mountain goat, expedition trails to the interior parts of Himachal. Yes, you're right when you talk about the serpentine traffic jams, but you must also understand that we have our constraints of space in a mountainous location. Even, Leh, it's a huge valley which has promoted the development of full-fledged airport. So we are trying to handle our constraints in a systematic way and work on how tourists can have a seamless experience. We are hosting the Asian Rafting Championship starting 3rd March. We are having the the 3rd edition of the Snow Marathon in Lahore, which will happen on the 10th of March. So we are trying to reinvent ourselves, and tourists are definitely giving us a very encouraging response. So these are various measures that we are taking, and at the same time, we are working very hard on our infrastructure. So Mr. Chengappa mentioned the importance of wayside amenities. It may be a small thing, but right now we are investing heavily in our infrastructure with the help of Asian Development Bank. We are coming up with wayside amenities. We are coming up with convention centers. People love going to Dharamshala. Then why not have the India Today Summit someday in Dharamshala? So we are working on those fronts, that how can we systematically manage large crowds, and what can we do about it? We are working at the levels of the district administrations as well, that how we can have different plans. However, the tourist inflow that we have noticed in Himachal is no longer a seasonal phenomenon. Now it is extending throughout the year. If I talk about the Lahore Valley, after the opening of the Atal Tunnel, you won't believe the valley has a population of around 30,000 people. We handled more than 8 lakh tourists. And we are coming up with the issues of how do we move ahead with our tourism in a sustainable manner. Responsible tourism is a big question for us, wherein it has 2 components, responsible tourists and we as responsible hosts. So our ecosystem, because it's a very fragile ecosystem, and talking about the main theme for today, heritage and reinventing it, so we are blessed with natural as well as, man-made heritage structures. So we are trying to encourage people to discover the hidden gems of Himachal. So that is our overall strategy. We are moving slowly, but hopefully very steadily. Thank you.
And hopefully someday we will, India Today will host an event in Dharamshala. Also, the best example of Himachal Pradesh hospitality was this new year, when the Chief Minister announced that all the drunk revelers would not be taken to lockup, but to their respective hotels. Going to Bihar, in terms of Indian history and heritage, Bihar has a very unique place. We know a lot of our past history is related to Bihar, and it had a very prominent, dominant place. But somewhere down the line, it lost its prominence, and now for many years it was known for the politics of Bihar mainly. So how is Bihar coming back to the tourist circuit, with so many things to be seen in Bihar, definitely? Not just the Buddhist circuit, but many other things. So what is Bihar doing specially to attract tourists and also to provide them a good experience?
Thank you very much. I thank India Today on behalf of Bihar government for organizing such a wonderful event. As you told, Bihar has a rich heritage, rich cultural heritage. Religiously, I can say all the major religions has a very important destination in Bihar. If we talk about Buddhist, everyone know Mahabodhi temple, which is a World Heritage Site. That is very important, and every Buddhist like to visit that place. Similarly, for Sikh, we talk about Guru Gobind Sahib birthplace, that is in Patna Sahib, that is also equally important. And for Muslims also, we have oldest Sufi temple, Sufi mosque, that is Maner Sharif. And for Jain also, birthplace of Mahavir. So almost all religion, and for Hindu, the most important, everyone has to come in Gaya for just pay homage to their ancestors. That is Pitri Paksh. So all religion has some important places in Bihar, they have to come. But apart from cultural and heritage and religious tourism, now we are focusing on ecotourism also. So what actually we are doing, apart from developing different tourist circuits of different religion based, we are also making clusters, like Bodh Gaya is one of the important cluster where not only you can enjoy the Buddhist circuit, you can enjoy nearby ecological places, ecotourism you can visit. Nearby place, if you will find that is Kaimur Wildlife Sanctuary, it is a beautiful landscape. So many waterfalls are there, and it's a worth visiting place. So cluster approach also we are doing. And in Rajgir, which is actually nearby Nalanda, Nalanda is again UNESCO World Heritage Site for its oldest residential university in the world. And nearby that, we have developed adventure activities like India's first glass bridge. And we have important places like Ghoda Katora and Vishwasanti Stupa. So we have ample amount of resources and site to visit for the tourist. There is some issues, there was some issues of infrastructure, but now it's absolutely fine. Law and order is at their place. So now number of tourists has improved a lot. If you will talk about foreign tourists, this year it was highest, and total tourist influx is almost 8 crores. This year it's 8 crores because there was a major fair in Malmas Mela. It happens after every 2.5 years. So number of tourists are improving. We are providing them better experience by providing different opportunity of tourism destinations. And I can say Bihar is very good place to visit. If you will visit Bihar, you will certainly change your perception about Bihar. So I will request all of you to plan your visit, and then you will certainly talk about better part of the Bihar, and the things which are going back of your mind that Bihar is not so safe. It's totally safe and with full of good infrastructure and natural beauty. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kishore. You talked about safety, and we have two women secretaries here. Women's safety, tourist safety, it's very important and significant in India, which actually at times discourages many women to travel alone. In your respective states, and you can also give suggestions to other states as well, what exactly the government should take, apart from deploying large number of policemen, tourist police on the street, but what are the measures, other measures that they can take to give that feeling of safety to a woman tourist, particularly those who could be planning to travel alone? I'll start from you, Mr. Rathore.
Yes, issue of solo women travelers and their safety is an area of prime importance to us, because other than family trips, we are promoting Rajasthan also as a place for solo women travelers or women traveling in groups. As rightly said, it is not purely a matter of law and order or deployment of police personnel. It is the involvement of the stakeholders. So recently we've started a campaign of sensitization of the stakeholders that the more the tourists, it is your bread butter. And if you kind of, antagonize the tourists by unnecessarily harassing them, asking them to buy a particular thing, go to a particular place, eat at a particular joint, something like that. So it is going to create unnecessary irritation. And this is one of the things which in our feedback mechanism has come up. And also for women tourists, other than those, all the safety apps and the cab drivers displaying their numbers, and with Uber and Ola, lot many things are taken care of. But again, we have our call centers, our Abhay command and control centers. So the rapid response teams and our Nirbhaya squads, we have regular dialogue between our Nirbhaya squads and the stakeholders of the tourism industry. Also, we have initiated that guides for the issuing licenses to the guides, we are giving priorities to women guides as well. So now that is a very, you can say, a kind of gentle presence of the women. So if someone wants to ask something or talk something, so the presence of women guides in their uniform, that is a very, kind of relaxing, or you can say reassuring feature that we have recently introduced. And at the same time, as part of home guards also, deployment of home guard, which is a part of our tourist assistance force, 30% we are trying to get in women home guard. So that is kind of, enabling atmosphere that we are trying to give.
You have just 1 minute to respond to the same question.
Yeah, but can I just most humbly suggest that this issue must be important for each one of us,
Yes,
not
yes, certainly.
just for the women sitting
But
here.
you
So
can
having
answer
said
from a
that,
women
yeah.
perspective.
So having said that, just talking about Himachal Pradesh, so I would say this issue is very much community-led. So the kind of community that we have, the kind of values that we have instilled. For example, in Himachal, in the tribal areas of Kinnaur, Lahaul and Spiti, Pangi areas, they're very much female-dominated, families. So the structure is kind of matriarchal, and so that also contributes to the overall thinking of the society. Himachal in general is a very safe place. We definitely have in place the institutional mechanisms of, say, Mahila Thanas, Women Helpline. But overall, we also are, as a part of a strategy, we are trying to sensitize, say, various important stakeholders, the tourist guides, the taxi operators, and there are many, even the police personnel, and there are many women who are, who love to travel in groups and solo as well, even to our distant areas. And I would say that we are trying to take it up in a holistic way by instilling a general message of safety and security through our community in mass. Thank you.
I wish I could take insight from Mr. Jadhav and Mr. Nandakishore, but as the clock says, time is up. Thank you so much for being part of this discussion. It was really insightful. It was wonderful having you all here. Thank you.
Thank you.